You're listening to Fuzzled, where structure beats hustle every time. If you want marketing that's designed, not reactive, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Fuzzled, the podcast that's all about calm marketing for ambitious, highly attuned entrepreneurs. Today I want to talk about something that sits quietly underneath most marketing struggles. Not strategy, we're not going to talk about motivation either, we're going to talk about focus. More specifically, how hustle culture breaks focus long before it ever builds momentum. Because let's face it, a lot of business owners aren't stuck because they're inconsistent, they're working all the time. They're stuck because they're operating without a weekly rhythm. This session supports my free online Structure Beats Hustle Lunch and Learn session, and it's for anyone who feels busy, visible, and exhausted, yet somehow still not moving forward in a way that feels sustainable. So let's get to it in the big breakdown. Hustle culture, usually found in social media, cold calling, cold emails and DMs, promises momentum through effort, but what it actually creates is fragmentation. When everything is urgent, nothing is integrated. Your attention splinters, your nervous system stays on edge, your focus never gets a chance to settle. Momentum doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing fewer things repeatedly enough that your system recognizes a pattern. That's why hustle breaks focus first. It replaces rhythm with reaction. It turns your week into a series of emotional sprints instead of a predictable flow. In fuzzle terms, this is what happens, my friends. You overshoot your energy ceiling. Your focus becomes unreliable. You mistake intensity for progress, and eventually you slow down. Not because you're lazy, but because your system is protecting itself. Real momentum doesn't feel frantic, it feels steady. It's the quiet confidence of knowing what happens on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays, not because you're disciplined, but because the structure does the remembering for you. That's the calm weekly rhythm. One anchor, one repeatable cadence, and enough space for recovery. Remember, when rhythm is present in your week, your focus stabilises. And when your focus stabilises, your momentum compounds. Not dramatically, but reliably. So onwards we go to Buzzword Bingo. And today's buzzword is reach. Reach for the stars, my friends. However, social media reach is often treated like a reward for effort. Post more, engage harder, push through the resistance. But reach doesn't respond to hustle, it responds to momentum. Momentum creates reach because you show up consistently, your message stabilises, and platforms recognise patterns, not bursts. After all, we're dealing with algorithms here, they like a good pattern. So when your content follows a weekly rhythm, it signals reliability to algorithms and to people, so your reach is going to go up. And when we talk about reach, we mean reaching more people. But reach isn't something you chase, it's something that follows calm consistency. Remember, hustle tries to buy attention with your energy, but rhythm earns attention with your presence. So now it's time for this week's Holy Moly Moment, and this one is a personal one, and I think it aligns very well to the theme of triumph over struggle, which is a great theme. You find it very much in the music of Queen and other bands as well, and I think that's why they're so popular. There was a point in my business where I was doing everything academically right. Posting regularly, trying new formats, jumping on ideas quickly, and yet, my friends, I felt permanently behind. So change was needed. But what changed for me wasn't effort, it was removing choice. I stopped asking, what should I do today? And I started asking, what repeats this week? One anchor task on the Monday morning, one publishing rhythm for the week, and one review point at the end of the week on the Friday morning. The mental relief was immediate, I have to say, not because things got easier, but because they got predictable. And that's when momentum showed up, quietly and without force. And that is a true holy moly moment. If hustle culture has been breaking your focus, instead of building momentum for your business, you don't need another push or a new content plan. You need somewhere calm to organise what you already know. With that in mind, I created the Clarity Kickstart as a gentle starting point for overwhelmed entrepreneurs who want structure without the urgency. It's not a challenge, it's not a plan, it's a pause. You'll find a link in the show notes if you'd like a calmer way to begin. And if this episode resonated with you, it'll flow nicely into the Structure Beats Hustle Lunch and Learn session, which I mentioned at the start of this episode. In that session, we go deeper into rhythm, anchors, and building momentum that actually lasts. If you'd like to come along, have a look again in the show notes and register for the next online session. Thanks for listening then, all the way to the end. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Fuzzled, where structure beats hustle every time. If today sharpened your thinking, you'll enjoy my weekly Friday feeling emails, calm, honest reflections with practical structure you can build around. Join the Marketing Clarity Club at paulculshaw.com and I'll see you in your inbox. Take care and keep building with structure.